In this world, every person receives a blessing from an animal god when they turn 16. Today, it was Sophia Riller's turn. She was called to the front of her classroom to receive hers. Nervously, she walked forward, trying not to trip. In her head, she thought about all the different blessings she might get. Each one was special and strong in its own way. She quietly hoped for something simple, something that wouldn't make her stand out. Maybe the power of night vision from the mole god's blessing. That would be nice and safe. Her teacher stood next to a group of floating cards and told her to choose one. This card would show which god had chosen her. Her heart raced. She shut her eyes tight and reached out. When she opened them again, she saw it, the card of the gorilla god. The next day, a group of girls led by Carissa came over to Sophia. They laughed and asked which god had picked her. They teased her, saying not even the bird god would want to bless her, and joked that she had no beauty to be chosen by the peacock god. Sophia didn't answer. She stayed quiet, keeping her blessing a secret. After a while, the girls got bored and ran off, saying that Louise had returned to campus. They left her alone in the classroom, giving her a rare chance to eat her lunch in peace. Sophia studied at a fancy academy meant for the children of nobles and powerful families. The school said it wanted to create future leaders, but most of the students only cared about making money or marrying someone rich. The boys made business connections. The girls tried to find powerful husbands. Very few truly cared about doing something good for the country. Sophia came from a faraway land and was the daughter of a count, but her family didn't have much power or influence. No one tried to be her friend. There was nothing to gain from talking to her. So she often ate lunch by herself under a big tree. That day, she took out her lunch and picked up an apple. But when she tried to take a bite, her fingers crushed it completely. Her eyes went wide. She was scared. Since getting her blessing, she had broken everything she touched. She guessed it must be the new power. The day before, after the ceremony, Sophia had shown her card to her teacher in private. His eyes went wide with surprise. He gave her a warm smile and said she had been chosen by the gorilla god, a rare and powerful blessing that only appeared once every 50 years. People with this blessing gained incredible strength, 7 times stronger than normal. Even her grip became 10 times more powerful. Sophia's legs gave out and she fell to her knees. This wasn't what she had wanted. She didn't want to be noticed or given a power she couldn't control. Before she could say anything else, her teacher told her to come back the next day for a private meeting. He didn't explain why, but said it was important. Now, sitting under the trees, Sophia thought about that meeting. She tried to enjoy her lunch, but her mind kept drifting. A sudden rustling sound pulled her attention away. A squirrel had climbed down from the tree and was now staring at her with wide, curious eyes. She tilted her head, wondering why it was acting so strange. Maybe it was hungry. She took out a piece of bread and placed it gently on a handkerchief, leaving it behind as she stood up and walked away. The squirrel didn't touch the food. It just kept watching her, completely still. The day went by slowly, her mind still full of worry. When the final bell rang, instead of going home, she went to the headmaster's office. There she learned what her teacher had hinted at the day before. The Royal Knights were interested in her. They wanted her to take their entrance exam. The headmaster gave her a letter with all the steps she needed to follow. He spoke about duty and talent, saying her blessing was too rare to ignore. He told her that everyone who had ever received the gorilla god's blessing had become a knight. Inside, Sophia felt like she was falling apart. This was never her dream. She didn't want attention or to be forced into something so public. She imagined all kinds of terrible outcomes, disappointing her parents, being sent to a special school for failures, or becoming the center of gossip. Still, she stayed calm. She pretended to be okay with it. Sophia then asked the headmaster to keep her blessing a secret. He agreed, thinking she was just being humble and didn't want to brag. He even promised not to mention that the Royal Knights had scouted her, assuming she wanted to surprise everyone later. That afternoon, Sophia went back to her tree. The bread she had left earlier was gone, and only the handkerchief remained with a few crumbs. As she bent down to pick it up, she thought about the meeting. She was now on a path she never wanted, training to become a royal knight. But then a new idea came to her. What if she failed the exam on purpose? If she didn't pass, they wouldn't let her join, no matter how rare her blessing was. On the day of the test, Sophia got lost trying to find the training grounds. While wandering near the edge of campus, she saw an old man struggling with a broken wagon. One wheel was missing, and he didn't know how to move his heavy load. She hesitated. Helping him might get her noticed. But in the end, she couldn't ignore him. She used her strength to lift the barrels and carry them to the next town, surprising the man. By the time she finished and returned, she was completely lost. That's when Louise appeared. He saw she was confused and walked over. Sophia was stunned, not just because of how kind he was, but because of how handsome he looked. It was the first time she had ever been speechless around someone. She quickly explained her situation, and he pointed her toward the testing center. Before she left, he gently wiped her face, leaving her frozen. Then he wished her good luck and said they'd meet again soon. His words confused her, but she didn't have time to think about it. At the training grounds, she changed into her uniform and saw she was the only girl there. She still planned to fail, until she saw Luis arrive. He was going to be the one running the test. The first challenge was a 100-meter dash. A boy named Isaac volunteered to go first. He was fast, powerful, and serious. He finished in just 9.9 seconds, impressing everyone. Sophia felt relieved. Maybe now she could fail without drawing attention. When it was her turn, she walked to the starting line. Some of the boys laughed at her strange stance. She didn't care. She just wanted to run, lose, and leave. But as soon as she pushed off the ground, her body moved faster than she thought possible. The gorilla god's power took over. She flew down the track and crashed straight into the wall at the end, breaking through it. Everyone stared. The whole place went silent. Even Sophia stood frozen, shocked. For a moment, she had actually enjoyed it, letting herself use the power, and that realization scared her. The next test was rappelling down a tall tower. When she reached the top, the dizzying height made her stomach turn. The group hesitated, unsure of who should go first, until a boy named Eddie volunteered and even did a flashy flip on the way down. Then Sophia noticed Isaac standing off to the side, pale and tense. He admitted he was afraid of heights. She offered to go with him, promising to go first so she could catch him if anything went wrong. Touched by her kindness, Isaac smiled, but halfway down, a strong gust of wind hit. Isaac lost his balance and his safety gear snapped. Sophia acted without thinking. She grabbed him midair, trying to hold on, but the force ripped the anchor from the wall. They both fell. In the air, she turned, cradling Isaac tightly in her arms, and landed hard but safely, sending up a cloud of dust. Louise, watching nearby, looked stunned. Isaac, with tears in his eyes, thanked her. Whispers spread quickly about her bravery until Louise stepped in, quieting the crowd and reminding them the test wasn't over. Then he helped Sophia up and walked her to the infirmary. There, he noticed her injured palm and began cleaning it. He commented that the wound should have been much worse, considering the fall, and praised her strength, teasing that Isaac was probably already in love with her. Sitting quietly, Sophia found herself staring at Louise's face. She had always thought he was handsome, but up close she noticed even more: his long lashes, smooth skin, and the calm way he moved. When he looked up and caught her gaze, he gently asked if she was in pain. Startled, she quickly said no, flustered. She hadn't meant to stare and now felt embarrassed. Louise chuckled softly, a warm, easy sound that surprised her. In that moment, he seemed younger than she'd imagined, his usual seriousness replaced by a boyish charm. When she thanked him and tried to pull her hand away, he didn't let go. Instead, he held it gently between both of his hands, and the quiet warmth of the gesture left her speechless. That marks the end of today's anime recap. If you enjoyed the video and want more of it, please support the channel by leaving a like and subscribe. Let's help us reach a current goal of 10K subscribers.